Our candidate debate 2024. Please everyone take a seat. So welcome to the presidential and executive campaign debate at UPEI. We're honored to host this event as the cadre, the only students publishing newspaper. This is a platform for the exchange of ideas and explorations of important issues that concerns our university. So first, I'll start with some of the ground rules for the event. First, we have 5 rules in total. First of all is respectful conduct. All participants are expected to conduct themselves in a respectful and professional manner throughout the event. Time management. Strict adherence to time limits for all segments of the debate is essential for fairness and efficiency. Third, platform-focused questions. The question posed to the candidates must pertain to their campaign platforms and policy positions rather than personal matters. 4, equal opportunity. Every candidate will be given equal time and opportunity to present their views and respond to questions. And 5, audience contact. We expect the audience to maintain a respectful and attentive demeanor during the debate. After 3 warnings, you will be asked to leave, so please don't haggle. Thank you. So the outline of the event will start with the presidential candidate's introduction. The candidates will come on the stage for the introduction and the debate. Each presidential candidate will have 1 minute to introduce themselves to the audience. They will leave the stage after the round is over. First round, we'll have general questions. 4 general questions will be asked, with each candidate having 1 minute to answer. Right here we have a moderator, his name is Devin, and he will be responsible for moderating and making sure that you have 1 minute to answer from the moment you start speaking. When you will be close to your 15 seconds end, he will make an announcement. Each candidate will also have 30 seconds. So each VP candidate is given 1 minute to introduce themselves. We'll start with the Vice President Academic, then move to Vice President External, and finish with Vice President Student Life. The candidates for each position will come on stage for the introduction and the debate. They will leave the stage when the round is over. First round is very similar to presidential debates. There will be 3 general questions with each candidate given 1 minute to answer. Each candidate will have 30 seconds to respond to a question posed by another candidate. The general questions will be asked in a rotating order. Then there will be a second round with the campaign-specific question. At the end of the debate, we'll provide information about the upcoming voting process. Thank you so much for your attention to the ground rules, which are designed to ensure a fair, productive debate for all involved. Before we start the debate, we would like to give this opportunity for representatives of non-executive positions to introduce themselves, if we have any in the audience. Do we have any candidates for non-executive positions present who would like to introduce themselves? I think you're an executive. No?
Hey everyone, my name is Kamran Ashrafi. I am running for arts rep, so art students can just vote for me. I am very concerned about a lot of issues that students are facing today. There are some unemployment issues. When you are going to graduate, you are worried what you are going to do. So I am I have very good plans for some on-campus opportunities. Writing Center and Accessibility Services have a lot of vacancies that you can fill in. And at the same time, they don't, even though they don't have enough uh, employees, they don't hire. Why? They need to change their they need to change their management decisions. People identified with disabilities need more academic support. No one gives any clear definition of plagiarism to art students. The university just wants to trap them with the idea of plagiarism without giving a definition. Art students need academic support. Our students need to be informed what are these problems, what are these ideas. I will in the council definitely stand for their rights, for the disabled students, for art students who want jobs, who want academic support. You see still now the snow is not removed. After it's been 1 month after the storm, the snow is still there. Bathrooms are not working properly. Parking, everyone is just complaining about parking. What did the previous representatives do about this issue? I want to really know. I just want one opportunity to go to council and find out what are the reasoning for this management, this unqualified management of university. Yeah, just the voting date is March 12th and 13th. Please, it's online. It's very convenient. You can just enter to your My UPEI website and just the ballot will appear and you can simply vote. Thank you. And just last not the least, we deserve the best. Don't let them take your rights. Let me stand for your rights. Thank you.
Thank you for your speech. Any other representative of non-executive positions that would like to introduce themselves? We will limit the speeches of non-executive positions to 1 minute, just as executive wants as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Mallory Travis and I'm also running for Arts Representative of the Student Union. I'm a strong, hardworking, and outspoken individual who would love to advocate for the rights of arts students. And I believe that a main concern that our students are facing is the lack of available courses. I know many are struggling with lack of options and even struggling to graduate on time. So I will absolutely work and advocate to fix that by running against the registrar's office, asking important questions. And I also believe the facilities provided for our students aren't great. So I will begin providing snacks at the Dawson Lounge for free starting next week. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Hello everyone, I just wanted to say a quick introduction. My name is Ariana McGrattan. I'm running for the science representative position. I'm the current student union science rep. Some issues I brought to council are parking, lack of courses, and issues with course scheduling, with courses overlapping. I would be delighted to continue fighting for the needs and wants of science students next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Non-executive position. All right. Then to presidential debates. Presidential candidates, please come on stage. Presidential candidates. So each candidate is given 1 minute to introduce themselves. We'll start with George.
Hi everybody, my name is George Jim. I'm a third-year history student. I think I know many of you here. You guys know what I stand for, what I'm like. For those of you who don't know me yet, we'll meet soon, and I hope we'll talk soon. So I'm nervous. Frankly speaking, I'm nervous. I'm running against these two great candidates, frankly speaking. I'm hoping that this night we can talk about some present issues that our students face, and we share ideas, and we hope to show you guys what we are standing for, and hope we can win your votes. 15 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
All right. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you all for coming today. My name is Dia Dabu. I'm currently the Vice President Student Life of the Student Union. However, today's debate is for me running for the President of the UPEISU Student Union. I'm an international student. I'm in the second year of Applied Communication, Leadership, and Culture with a minor in French as well. A little fun fact about me is that I can speak 4 languages, and I hope we have a good time tonight. Thank you.
Just a reminder to the candidates, keep your microphone really close when you speak, so everyone can hear you.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. And first thing I want to acknowledge that we are today standing on the unceded and ancestral land of the Mi'kmaq people, and known to them as the Pequot, a traditional district of the Mi'kmaq territories. My name is Ibrahim Yunus. I'm a third-year engineering at 5, and I moved here at the age of 14 with my brother. And I haven't visited back home since I've been here, unfortunately, but hopefully this year is the year. If you've recently heard of me, it's possibly because I've met with President Garkey about pressing issues like international students not receiving mental health resources from war-torn countries, just like the one from Ukraine. I'm from Palestine, who's directly affected by Gaza. And another reason why you would have heard of me is because I found out about a student from Gaza who needed pay his tuition, and we raised around $20,000 for him. That's, of course, thanks to all the students. It was a lot of their help. And yeah, good luck.
Next, we will move to the first round of general questions. So I'll just remind you how that's gonna go. 4 general questions are going to be asked. Each candidate will be given 1 minute to answer. In between, you will be able to ask questions to another candidate just by raising your hand. Each candidate will be given 30 seconds to answer that question. You cannot repeat the question to the same candidate in the same round. If you want, you can take a seat. It might take a minute. Okay, so general question, and we will start with Ibra. Then the next question will be first asked with Divya, and then we'll move to George, and then back to you. How will you ensure that student voices are heard and taken into account in decision-making process at the university?
So due to the nonpartisan law that the student union party has, it's kind of hard to understand and listen to students. So one thing that Shur and I, unfortunately Shur's not here today, but we're planning to have an advocacy platform where students can actually voice their issues and tell us the student union what they need. Coming here might add another year into my engineering degree, but I'm more than happy to do it because I really want to make some change. And yeah.
Any questions to Ibra?
All right. First off, thank you so much for that question. And I know that back in the summer there is a survey that is sent out which is called the priority survey, which actually is made to know what the priorities of students are and so that we know what the issues and concerns are. I do believe that in order to also know what students want, there needs to be an open door policy, and what I mean by that is to be sure that, for example, having mandatory executive office hours for students to come and talk to us about what they want. I also do think there needs to be a smoother feedback channel, or for example, if you don't feel comfortable coming face to face with us, you can also do it online anonymously, and we'll be sure to bring your concerns to university administration. Thank you.
Thank you. So student voice. The current student union council structure, we have representative in each faculty. I think those representatives are key to hear students from each faculty. I think the problem is not, we need to open more doors to hear student voice, but we need to make sure that each representative to hear each faculty, each student clearly, and then bring it to the council meeting. So when the new election finish next new year, we can review the representative. Is it fully representing all students? And then we can, in a team session, we can enforce, engage more between the representatives with the students, so that students will be comfortable telling their representatives what's their concerns and bring it all together to the council. Thank you.
Next question. How would you handle conflicts or disagreements with faculty, administrations, and students? Sylvia?
All right, thank you so much for that question. And just to be kind of like clear and to clarify what you mean by that is, are we taking the strike as an example? Or just in general?
Just in general, but if that's the example you want to use, you can.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, well, sorry, can you repeat it?
Yes, of course. How would you handle conflicts or disagreements with faculty, administration, and students?
So the conflict is between administration, faculty, and students?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I just had to make sure I understood it properly. Okay, so first off, I think what we need to do is first off know where and what the conflict is and why it has arose, for example. I think having student input as to what those conflicts are and deciding as to what the next steps are for negotiation and working with the executive team to figure out what we can do and how we can be a voice for students to make sure that another problem similar to what has happened does not arise again. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a question for Lydia? George? Of course. How would you handle conflicts or disagreements between faculty, administration, and students?
So whenever in the future, whenever a conflict between administration faculties arise, I think our key job is as a student union to tell the students exactly what is going on. For example, strike. I think a lot of us don't even know what was going on. Maybe hear pieces of information from our professors that talk. First of all, I think we need to ensure that all of the students understand what's going on. That's first. Second of all, based on after students hear what is going on, after they have a good understanding, then we hear their voice, we ask their opinions, and then we tell them. 15 seconds. Then we tell them what we can do in this conflict as a student union, like within our limit. So with effective communication, we can hear from our students, and then we can put our best output in the conflict. Thank you.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
So
in my opinion, conflicts exist all over the world. There's like every country has its own conflicts, every group of people have their own conflicts, but at the same time, every conflict has a solution. There's no conflict with no solution. I believe a set plan would bring a solution. Of course, the problem is always different. It always changes. But every problem has a solution. The only way we'd be able to solve any problem is by working together as student union executives, also getting the opinion of the most important part of the student union, which is the students, having their opinions, knowing what they need, knowing what's missing from the solution. We might have, the student union executives might have a set solution, but that doesn't mean that the students agree with that solution. Again, same thing with the strike. A lot of the solution that the student union got did not necessarily make all the students happy, but it was somewhat of a solution. I believe there could have been more done there, but again, I wasn't there. I don't know what exactly happened, and that's again wrong. We should know what happened.
Third question. In what ways do you plan to improve the academic quality and reputation of the university? George, it's your turn.
Right. I'm so sorry. Can you say the two keywords?
I'll just repeat it again. In what ways do you plan to improve the academic quality and reputation of the university?
I think the academic side of the university really comes from two parts. The professor, the quality of the professor, the quality of their teaching, and the quality of students' research abilities, students' engagement. So the hiring professors is really a university issue. It's complicated. It's related to their budget. We don't really have a say in the professor hiring process and how many professors we want to hire, but students, we can improve students' overall research abilities, engagement. So I plan to sponsor undergraduate student conferences because I believe conferences are key to academia. I want to sponsor conferences so that our students are more engaged in real academic research, in real presentation of their research, through conferences to provide a better reputation for our university. Thank you.
In what ways do you plan to improve the academic quality and reputation of the university?
So, unfortunately, a lot of things happened in the last couple of years that the reputation of the school is slowly going to come back up. As for the academics of the students, it's one of my policies actually is to introduce financial literacy seminars. I've talked to multiple financial advisors from different banks, like Scotiabanks, BMO, and so on, who are willing to come and volunteer their time in the Fox and Grow, which also help the Fox and Grow grow. And those financial literacy seminars will teach students how to save money, how to invest money, how to manage the credit system in Canada. Because for me, as Ibra, I was not born here. I didn't know about the credit system until I moved here. But obviously, it took me some time to realize that I need to build the credit to be able to have a good future. And I believe that's a necessity for everyone is to learn financial literacy. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that question. As to how to improve academics and students, I'm not really sure how I would do that. However, what I do know, and it is one of my priorities as well, is that education is not really as affordable. I know that because for one of my courses, I had to pay about like $150 for a book for a course of 4 months. I personally don't think that it is worth it. It is, but it's also not. And one of my priorities as to how I would combat that is pretty much to kind of work with the student library as well as the registrar to find out what courses there are on campus that do not require any additional costs like the textbooks. That again will alleviate some of the financial stress on students. As for the reputation of the university, I guess it would just to be sure that whenever we are in the public eye, to be sure that we're doing good stuff, and just to be sure that we are not tarnishing the name. And I guess it would also involve working with the recruitment office, which seems to be a little bit difficult, but not impossible. Thank you.
The last question of the general section. Yeah, you have a question to begin?
Or can I use the comment or?
Yeah, if you have a question. Yes. The last question. Can you share an example when you took a leadership role and made a positive impact?
Kind of already touched on that, but when I saw that Palestine was not getting, or the Palestinian students in here were not getting the mental health resources that they need, or any resources in that sense, I went ahead and started a GoFundMe campaign for someone who's from Gaza, who's directly affected, had lost family members, had lost his income because it was coming from Palestine. And that's where we decided to do the GoFundMe campaign, raise money for him. We ended up paying off his tuition. We got him clothes that are necessary for him, like winter boots and jackets, which nobody knew, but he did not have. We got him groceries for a month, paid his rent for 2 months, and a bunch of stuff like that. So this is one of the great things that I'm very proud to have done, and I would do it again and again. Thanks.
So, leadership. As Ibra has done amazing things as a leader, unfortunately, guys, I don't have the same level of experiences. For the past 3 years, I've been more or less just very engaged in different activities at school, got to know a lot of people in arts and different societies, more or less just as a normal member. But through that, I got to learn about my fellow students. Compared to Ibra's real leadership in advocacy, I'm more like, for the past 3 years, I've been learning what our students want. I've been learning problems of the university. So I believe that in the new year, if I was elected, I would be a new face of student union. I would be leading this council to do great things for our students. Because for the past 3 years, I've been learning with all of you. I've known your problems, and I plan to do great things next year. Thank you.
All right, first off, thank you so much for that question. I could talk about my role as the Vice President Student Life at the SU and how that impacted. However, to everyone's surprise, I'm also involved in another not-for-profit organization, which is Peers Alliance. I'm on the board of directors for Peers Alliance, and which was also, fun fact, an elected position. And pretty much what I bring to the table is the issues of various post-secondary education students who are queer or for part of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community to the table. And I think so far my input has been valuable, and the people on the board are also very nice. I just think that's one impact that I feel really proud of doing, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This is the end of the general question round. We will move on to the second round, which is campaign-specific question. Every candidate brought a platform in which they're making certain promises about things that they're going to bring to our university. So the way how we are going to move about it, we'll have first 3 questions to Divya, then we'll move to Ibra, and then we'll have 3 questions for George. After that, we will be taking questions from the audience. Okay, questions for Divya. First question. Can you elaborate on what creative solutions you have in mind to increase affordable, safe housing for students?
All right, thank you for that question. Affordable housing, as we all know, has been an ongoing issue for years. What I plan to do if I'm elected as president is to dabble in different solutions and options that we have. For example, there is the co-op housing as well as co-housing. To go a little bit in detail of that, how co-op housing works is pretty much the same way how a council works, and in order to make that happen, you need grants from the province and the university and the city as well. Yes, sorry. And then other solutions that we have are co-housing, not to be confused with co-op. I had the same confusion. However, co-op housing, on the other hand, is more so similar to homestay. However, it is more so staying with elders at a more affordable rate. Thank you.
Do you have questions for me? After you ask the question, whenever you will start answering, you have 30 seconds to answer.
Just a friendly question about the first thing proposed about grants from government level. So is it mostly done through negotiation or advocacy? How is it going to look like? I'm not asking for exact details, but just maybe elaborate on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So from my understanding of how it works is that once we figure out that housing is the problem, and then we'll look for recommendations. And how that works is that we pretty much look at what other provinces or other student unions are doing. This is just to be sure that whatever ideas that we have in mind, if they're feasible to implement or not. And then once we have those recommendations, that is what we bring to the government, municipally, provincially, and federally, and then advocate for funding, for example, which is the big thing for housing. Thank you.
Ibrahim, have a question for Lydia?
You mentioned that you want to work with the province for affordable housing buildings or units or so on. I personally worked in construction for the last 5 years and have built over 120 units of affordable housing units around PEI in Montague, Charlottetown, and Stratford. Those affordable housing units are only for permanent residents and citizens. How will you change that to make it for international students?
Thank you for that question. I believe that I'm not really sure how everything works exactly, but when it comes to affordable housing, as student unions, what we advocate for is affordable student housing. Maybe I should have made that a little bit clear. But whenever we are advocating to provincially or federally or whatever it is from a government, it is usually student focused. So that's where it comes from. I hope that answered your question. Thank you.
Second question. In what specific ways will you ensure inclusivity and belonging for all students, particularly those who might be impacted by increased global unrest and bigotry that you mentioned in your platform, like towards LGBTQIA+ people?
All right, thank you so much for that question. As a very obvious person of color myself, a woman of color at that, I do understand that there are various needs on campus that needs to be tailored to those specific groups of people. What I do hope to do is work on the various departments that we already have on campus, such as the campus peer support, to make sure that there are more resources. And what I mean by that is to make sure that there are appropriate staff who can listen and appropriate measures are being taken to cater to the specific needs of marginalized students. Thank you.
Any questions for the candidates? Third question. How exactly do you plan to make the student union more accessible and reliable for students?
All right, again, thank you so much for that question. If you have had a look at my priorities so far, you will see that what I mean by accessible student union is a student union that listens to you. And what that entails is, again, just to be sure that to make, for example, executive hours mandatory, this is to ensure that you know who we are. There is a face to put to the name. We know who we are, what we do, and what are the limits of what we can do. It also just entails knowing exactly, such as, again, like I mentioned before, a smooth feedback channel that can be anonymous if you do not want to come up and talk to us. This is just to make sure that we know what your concerns are and that we are actually listening to you. Thank you.
That was the last question. Candidates, any questions to begin?
believe office hours are part of the bylaw, so I'm not sure what you would be bringing to the table in that sense.
I'm not, you might be right, I don't know if they're part of the bylaw, but what I meant to say is to make it mandatory for like, not from this executive team to the next, like you absolutely will have to do them. That's what I mean. I'm not sure if it's mandatory in the bylaw or not, but I could be wrong.
It's part of the bylaw to have office hours as an executive officer.
Then I apologize, I didn't know that. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Thank you. George?
So, concerning the accessibility, are there any new ways or new ways, are there any new creative ways that, maybe conventional creative, whatever, new ways that to encourage students to reach out more to student union?
Yeah, absolutely. Social media is just one channel of communication. I think at some point it will also be part of the counselor responsibilities to reach out to their own constituents. Because again, we are here, we work for the student union. However, it is quite difficult to reach out to every single constituent on campus. So I believe it will be the role of the counselors to go and talk to constituents so that we know what is going on campus and be sure that we are addressing these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. We will move to the round of questions for Ibra. So,
Not necessarily, but I just read through it. So.
oh, yeah. So first question is, as president, how would you balance the need for the student union to take a stand on global issues while also adhering to the nonpartisan law 1.06?
This is a good question. Thank you. So one of the things that executives can do is either put in new bylaws or remove bylaws if the council agrees to. So obviously, I can't guarantee that I will be able to do that, but I will definitely try my best because I believe the students should know where their student union stands in regards to global issues, especially that when we're mostly international students. There are students here from 120 different countries. So I believe the student union, or students knowing where their student union stands is very important and should be changed to that. Also, the bylaws are very outdated and need to be updated. Updating them, that would be part of the update, is to change that bylaw, hopefully, if the council agrees, of course, and all the reps are in favor. But yeah.
So, first of all, agree with you 100%. I think it's great that the student union should have a stance on global issues and it boosts a community. It's very important. The question is, in the global conflict, we all know there are always two sides in it. So how, and there are always victims on both sides. Of course, one is more, one is less. So how can we address both sides or not to polarize things? And also, would you take a step further once we have the stance? Can we do more to try to support or help or to advance from the stance? Not only have a stance, but go from that.
So first things first, we're in a country that I'm very happy to be in, and that has laws that allow us to go and publicly support certain groups, which is I forget the name of the laws now, but to answer your question, there's always right and wrong. We just have to make sure that both sides are respected, both sides receive all the resources that they need from mental health, financial, and so on, and any breaks that come with it.
Second question. You propose providing hygiene products in women's and gender neutral washroom, a program that the university has already been implementing for years. How does your initiative differ from the existing one? And what improvements are you planning to take? I guess we have a page missing, but additionally, it was also how are you going to, did you take logistic of it in consideration? And where are you going to get the finances to do this?
Thank you. So first things, the prior question, it was freedom of speech is what I would say. For this question, I've looked into the budget of the student union. There's a lot of things in the budget that don't make any sense. There's a lot of money that's basically seems like it's missing. So, for example, you have Sextoy Bingo. I believe that removing, divesting money from Sextoy Bingo and putting it in women's washroom hygiene products would be a lot more beneficial, as well as yeah, they might be in some of the washrooms right now, but I personally don't walk into all those washrooms. But I was told by friends that are females that use those washrooms that they're not available there or not available in all of the washrooms. So I'm sure we can add them to the rest of the washrooms. That's what I'm trying to bring.
Questions?
Thank you for that. I'm just gonna comment and then I'm gonna ask the question. The reason why we actually do have sex toy bingo is because usually when we are talking about love and sex, it also involves consent. And I can tell you right now from experience that just talking about consent is not enough. There needs to be something fun to make students engaged. That is part of the reason why during Love and Sex Week, there are these fun activities. Do you think it would be detrimental to just kind of like remove that altogether? Because I personally think consent is quite a big issue on campus and it definitely needs to be addressed. However, again, it takes a lot to have those heavy conversations without having a fun aspect.
Absolutely, thank you for the question. I actually did not know that those sex toy bingos were about consent. Obviously, consent is a huge thing that needs to be addressed, and I fully support anything that that requires, obviously, that you need to ask consent and get consent. But I don't believe that sex toy bingo is the option here. There's so many other things that someone can do that would advertise consent, especially that I personally have not seen any of the sex toy bingo advertising consent, but that's because I didn't show up to them, so sorry.
Zibe, in this round, you won't be able to ask a question, but you can save it for the next round. George?
So, great idea to supply to all women washrooms with hygiene products. Important, of course. But the hygiene product is highly consumed, like with a huge population of female of the university. I guess we have to find the happy balance between supply and the amount, because we're not able to put a lot of, we're not able to fully supply all women with hygiene products. It's most, as I could imagine, it's mostly for emergency, because we can never meet the needs. So how would you go about finding that happy balance, to the enough funding for enough, but not to compromise more funding for other things you really want to do?
So thank you for that question. First thing, those products are a necessity. They're not something that people ask to have or that just can stop and go. It's something that happens out of nowhere, as you can study about it in menstrual cycles and biology. But obviously, you won't be able to supply for everyone for the rest of their life. But when something happens in the school, they should be at least just be able to go to any washroom that's close by and just use whatever product that they need. Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Third question. Your campaign highlights importance of financial literacy plans, such as strategies for saving and investing. However, many students are deeply concerned about tuition increases. Why has your campaign not addressed the issue of tuition cap increases, especially considering the other candidates have strongly advocated it? This question is courtesy of Saeed Imran.
Thank you, Saeed. So financial literacy. This is something that I've had to learn and teach myself since I was 14 when I first moved here, and I was unable to get a job or unable to go to school just due to my refugee papers. So one thing I had to do was learn how to save my money, and the money that I had saved, invested. So tuition increases is a terrible thing. I'm part of it, obviously, like I have to pay the increase of tuition too. But personally, not being in the student union, I don't know what the student union is able to do or what they're not able to do. That's why I want to go in to actually have my perspective on it and give that perspective to the students and make sure that they know where that money is going, why the tuition increases are happening. Inflation is going to happen regardless we want it or not. And with everything, well, I'm against inflation, of course, because when you drive something's price up, everything is going to go up with it. So financial literacy is very important because any money that you can save, you can invest, make more money on it, and bring it back into your pocket, or spend it on something that you love.
Okay, now we will move to George.
Yeah, sorry. Few comments, but not to go back too much on the hedging project. I was last point I was making. I wasn't saying we should supply for rest of their life. It's important. We need them for emergency for our students. Important. So I was just trying to say like how can we figure out the amount? How can we get enough? Yeah, that was the main thing. I'm sorry for misunderstanding.
I can still answer that.
No problem. We can talk about it later. Financial literacy very important, and I think students it's very hard for them. Inflation. Do you think that we should? But as I understand, if you want to make money with what you have now without a job investment, it's kind of hard for students. So do you think we should go tackle other problems, try to decrease other expenses first, and then try to teach financial literacy and invest in such like? Just wondering what's your thoughts on this?
So the financial literacy is not only just bringing the financial advisors from the bank, volunteering their own time to teach the students about financial literacy. It's also about money saving strategies. So for example, you can go, today is Wednesday, you guys can go to Taco Boys for $10 and get 3 tacos. That's what I do every Wednesday to save my money. You can go to certain days to Superstore, and you can go on Tuesdays, they have 15% off for students. There's many different strategies that you can use. This is what I want to introduce is money saving as well.
Question?
Yeah.
We'll have audience questions after the round is over. George, we'll move to your campaign questions. First, you mentioned a plan to build a path from the new residence to Blaze Pizza and University Avenue. Can you elaborate on how you intend to secure the necessary permission, funding, and manpower for this project?
Right. First of all, I think it's very important to build a path there because students walk there. A lot of them walk there, and frankly speaking, we need a path. It makes sense because right now we only have one exit, University Avenue. I've seen so many students walk that way on the other side of the university to University Avenue. Logically, it makes sense. Practically, our students walk there is a huge need. So to answer the question, to gain necessary permission and everything, of course, that's going to be a lot of meetings with the university. So as for now, I can't tell exact details about how to gain the permission, but if that's a problem that's affecting all our students, I believe that together we can bring petitions, we can bring the piece of paper to the university, show them, look, here are all students that wanting this path. It's not a long path, it's highly doable. Why not? Why not? If the university don't even listen to the necessary need, they can't do anything for us. Thank you.
Questions to George? Second question. In 2022, Loblaws in Canada, Atlantic Superstore and PEI, removed their 10% off Tuesday student deals, shifting it to turn 10% back in optimum points. How do you intend to negotiate discounts with popular grocery stores for UPEI students? What strategies do you have in place to ensure these discounts are substantial and beneficial for the student body?
So, look, tuition, housing, grocery stores. Tuition, living expenses, two biggest expenses of our students. Tuition, housing, groceries, no doubt. Tuition, a lot to do with university, housing, more complicated, but groceries, we can do groceries. Student union represents the whole student body, and we pay a lot for our groceries. So here's what I'm gonna do. We can send out a mass survey to ask all the students which grocery store they go the most often every week. We can have a list of all every grocery store according to how often our students go visit. Say Walmart, with how many students, Superstore, Sobeys, so on and so forth. And then student union can send a team to go negotiate directly with the grocery stores. As you mentioned, there was previously a 10% discount. I'm sure we can do that again. It's good for them, it's good for us. And frankly speaking,
You're over your time.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
So all those companies, Loblaw, Sobeys, all these guys are in the business of making money. They're not in the business of serving. So for them to give you that kind of discount or any kind of deal, you have to offer them something. What do you have to offer?
Thanks for the question. It's a tough question. I know it's a very big undertaking. Just the fact that if they're willing to give us discount even for a day, I'm sure that our students will go more on that day. We have business students here. They are the professional in this issue. I'm planning to have them as a big team on behalf of us to negotiate the discount. Again, I don't know the exact details, but I'm pretty confident that we can get it done. Thank you.
Third question. According to the student union budget sheets, Fox & Crow has been experiencing financial losses over the past few years. Despite this, you are committed to reducing prices. How do you envision balancing the demand for more affordable options while ensuring that food and service quality remain high? Can you also provide some insight into your proposed funding plan to facilitate this initiative?
Right, Fox & Crow. Here's what I stand for. I want this place to be the cheapest place for all our students to go out and enjoy a restaurant environment. That's my heart. That's what I stand for. That's what I want for our students. So right now, as I understand, we have been not making enough profit. It's a problem, but look here. As long as I can even keep the same amount of loss, I'm not losing. We're not making enough money right now. As long as I keep it like that, I'm not even losing. If we reduce the Fox & Crow prices, I'm sure with more advertisement, with more communication, we can bring more students into this place. And what's more, we can advertise to all community members to bring more community members to this place. It's a way to support our student union. The money the community members bring will help this place grow. Thank you.
Thank you, George. The round of questions for the presidential candidates is over. Audience now has the time to ask questions. Each candidate has 30 seconds to respond. I remember Ryan had his hand first.
Hi everyone. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Ryan. I currently work for the student union. I'm the current VP of Finance. So I have a question for Ibra. So myself and previous VP Finances have worked with the Interministerial Women's Secretariat over the years to get female hygiene products as donations. We get them every year. We have gotten some ourselves, which we use for the washrooms. Downstairs in the UPEISU Student Center is the only building that we are only allowed to put it in. And for other deployments on campus, we do give some of the donations out to them when they request them. Since we don't pay for them, how does that affect your original budget?
I'm sorry, I honestly just could not really hear. Like, I couldn't hear you. I'd have to ask you to repeat the question. Unfortunately, sorry. All right.
Since we have only one microphone, so we just run around.
So we already get female hygiene products donations from the International Women's Secretariat. Is that the public business?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So we give those out to different departments on campus. We also use some. We give them in a food bank program, which is over here. We also have drug bags. We also put them in the washroom as consistently as we can. It's the team as much as we can. Since we don't pay for those, how does that affect your original budget?
Honestly, still quite don't understand the question where you're coming from, so I'm gonna try and explain it to you and tell me if that's what you mean. So you're saying you already have hygiene products for women's washrooms, and it's supplied by someone for free?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. So that wouldn't really affect, other than maybe even allocating a little bit more money to make it more accessible for all students that need it in their washrooms. So just more is better in this sense, because it's, again, it's something necessary. It's not a choice. It's something that comes with just being born. And yeah. Thank you. Okay.
The next question, Saeed.
So my question is for George. You've talked about sponsored conferences and that they're a great platform for students to explore. How will you ensure that the students selected for these conferences and opportunities are based on merit and without any bias? And how do you plan on pooling funds for these sponsored conferences?
So, to answer the question first, it's going to be based on merit because all the students want to participate in the conferences, must do a research proposal, a proto research paper to show if they want to engage in this, they have to do the research proposal, proto research paper. We can have professors review them. As for the funding, I'm sorry, but we'll make it happen.
Questions from the audience? I saw a girl in the back. Have you heard the hand raised before? Thank you.
So I've seen some discourse on social media regarding potential misogynistic views held by a potential candidate. As a woman on the student body who has only seen men hold the position of student union president and sees 2/3 of the candidates today as men, correct me if I'm wrong, my question is, how do you plan to ensure that women and those who do not identify as male feel that they have a voice within UPEI and feel heard within the student union? And I will just confirm, is this question for George and Ibra? Yes, and Divya, if you'd like to answer.
So, thank you for the question, I appreciate it. I want to correct you on one thing that you said there's only been male presidents before. We have Camille here with us, she's female, she's been doing her job as best as she could, I hope, and I'm sure she has. But there's so many different ways to assure that all students feel comfortable in here. One of the things is, like for example, sexual violence prevention. I've been looking into that. It's not as, like the policies that we have are not as good as they should be. They're during parties, at least. For example, I've been security. I've worked security in multiple different bars, and I'm sure I want to make sure that we can enhance and make it more efficient for the students to be able to go report all of their claims. And I want students to come to us and tell us about how we can make it better, because we're trying to make it better for them and not for anyone else.
All right, thank you so much for that question. I believe if I understood it right, is how to be a voice for all of the students. So I guess, again, woman of color myself, I do understand that this is a very diverse campus. I think a big part of that would just involve just kind of like knowing that we are a diverse campus, and that me as president, if I were to be elected, I have the voice to represent all of you, and I guess that's pretty much exactly what I would do. Thank you.
So first of all, I'm a man, but there's no way that I cannot be sympathy to women and what they think. I'm sorry, I'm not phrasing it right, but here's what I believe. Every student here at UPI we have intrinsic value that are equal. We're equal no matter what our choices are. Second of all, I believe I can be sympathy to students. Third of all, we have a great peer support program. We can make every student of their choice to feel comfortable at our university. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see a question. Okay, I'll move there. Come back to you.
Hi. Ibra, you spoke about SB Pro and how the current policies are kind of lacking and they're not exactly the best. Can you talk about specific examples that you saw, and are you aware of the draft action plan and all the positive changes that have already been implemented over the past few months? For example, the Campus Culture Oversight Committee under the Board of Governors, the new harassment policy released by the UPEI that's completely replacing the old policy that was defective. So can you give us specific examples of things you'd like to see improved and what you plan to do to make those changes?
Sorry, you're having to do all this walk. We appreciate it. So, you're good. You're done. Thank you. So, I didn't really say they're effective. I just say they're not as good as they should be. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I haven't really looked enough into it, but to be honest, but I know that it's not as comfortable for anyone to report. It's we should have a guide through how you can submit and how you can follow up. We can have the DJ or whoever the party is go up in the middle of the party or whatever, and just make sure that everybody's being safe, and have a sexual violence prevention officers around during those events. Thank you.
We'll take 2 more questions. Hand over here.
My first question is for Ibra. I totally agree with George that at some point he said it's been a polarization on campus over the Gaza matter. I'm wondering how would you face the issue of polarization? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are also concerned about the safety of Israel and Jewish people. You know, since 1947, Palestinians have been together with their criminal supporters, such as government of Iran, have been a threat for safety of Israel. How would you face this polarization? A lot of people are concerned about this. And my second question is for
So as a Palestinian whose family has been annihilated and exiled from Palestine in 1948 along with 750,000 people, I would take this very seriously because prior to 1948, all Jewish people, Muslims, regardless of their religion, they were all neighbors, lived together until Zionism came in and started killing people. Of course, the safety of all people matters, and I'm with the safety of all people regardless of their religion. I don't look at them from their religion or their religious beliefs. I look at them as a human, just like Israel is not looking at Gaza as humans. They're killing we're up to 45,000 people now. A lot of bombs have been dropped, more than atomic bombs, and so that should be enough for you.
Last question, I saw a hand over there. Please.
Thank you. So with the sex trivia, sex bingo being brought up and Zionism being brought up now, what do you? This is for everyone. Do you support the LGBTQ movement? And how are you going to show the support? Because now I'm starting to get a little concerned that you do not feel inclusive towards everyone, and that's very important as a president to be.
I'm not sure how you were able to correlate those two together, but I'm not against any entity in general. I have friends that are part of the LGBTQ community. I have friends and family actually who are part of the LGBT community, and I respect all of them equally. I do not respect the Zionism, and I do not respect anyone who takes the human life so easily. Thank you.
Because of time constraint, we'll have to move forward with other candidates. Was it for both candidates? Yeah? Was it for both candidates?